Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's November 23rd, 2016. Today it's announced Donald Trump has named two more people for his cabinet. They're both women today. One is Betsy DeVos, who will be the head of the Department of Education. She is the sister of Eric Prince, the military maniac, the right-wing hardliner for the military-industrial complex who created the private military mercenary firm Blackwater that has fleeced the U.S. taxpayer for billions of dollars with needless mercenaries and needless wars. This is the sister of Eric Prince, who is an absolute psychopath, one of the people that gets handed taxpayer dollars by the millions and billions. What is she going to do? What is Nancy DeVos, the sister of Eric Prince, going to do? She's going to make more charter schools. And if you read the lines between charter schools, the way it ultimately works out is it means less resources for poor areas. You know, poor areas that are already depleted and have no resources and have schools that are already a major disservice. They're going to have even less resources. And rich areas that already have the majority of the resources and are already light years ahead in terms of the quality of education they get, they're going to have even more. So that's the direction Donald Trump's going with his education, which is no surprise. He is a billionaire. He represents the billionaires. To think Donald Trump would represent anyone other than the billionaires is to be outright ignorant, which is pretty much what almost everyone in America is. Who else did he appoint today? He appointed Nikki Haley, the governor, who he called a disgrace to her state, an embarrassment to her state, not even that many months ago. Now, she's going to be a part of his administration, a Washington insider. You know, Donald Trump deceived people into thinking he was going to be something different, this outsider that was going to change Washington. Every single appointment so far, all Washington insiders, all right-wing hardliners, no surprises. You know? So let's decode these two women and see further why they are announced today, because it is no coincidence. It has everything to do with all the announcements of the prior candidates, which I've already decoded. And in case you missed my videos on all of his other appointments thus far, which are all Washington insiders announced by the numbers, I'm going to link those videos in the description. We'll even touch on some of them here as review. Let's begin with Nikki Haley. She was the announcement first. The latest is Betsy DeVos for Department of Education. The first announcement was Nikki Haley for Ambassador of the United Nations, which is the Zionist Masonic Front for the One World Banker Order. Sorry, that was my girlfriend. Got to pick that one up. Anyhow, Nikki Haley, you know, not that long ago, a rival of Donald Trump, now a part of his cabinet. The way the media is spinning it today is Donald Trump. He's showing that he is a humble man. He is willing to, you know, acknowledge his former enemies and invite them to be part of his administration. In reality, that's not at all what's going on. He's just a puppet stooge. He'll do whatever's told of him. He'll go out and say whatever lines, deceiving the American people. He's an egomaniac. He's a horrible human being. He stands for nothing. That's the truth. That's the no spin. Those are the facts. So here she is, Nikki Haley. Why is she appointed today? Look at how old she is. 44 years old, just like the age of his first appointment, just like the number coded all over this election. Donald Trump will be the 45th president, but only the 44th man to be president because Grover Cleveland screwed up the count with his split term of 22 and 24, meaning the 25th president, McKinley, was the 24th man to be president. Notice that Nikki Haley is going to turn 45 on Inauguration Day, the day that the administration goes to Washington. How perfect. 45th president, she'll be 45, the ambassador to the UN on Inauguration Day. Remember how this is all part of the New World Order agenda, the Donald Trump presidency. That's why he was announced as the 45th president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. In Gematria, Berlin Wall equals 45. So perfect. Check out her name in Gematria. Nikki Haley equals 51, like conspiracy, like federal, also like governor, which she is. I guarantee you that she was not born Nikki Haley. This is her actor agent name. This is what they do. They find these people who have the right qualities to sell out the American public. They give them a fitting name. They are actors. Just like how your Hollywood actors mostly all change their name. From today, November 23rd, until Inauguration Day, also her birthday, is 58 days, the number for Freemasonry and secret society. Again, this is the 58th presidential election that Donald Trump just won. By the way, her name, Nikki Haley, in simple English gematria sums to the same thing as Zionism and Masonry. That's who runs Washington, the Freemasons, the Zionists. Her date of birth, a date with 112 numerology, Zionist 112, a life lesson number of 40, number of the United States. She has birth numerology of 93, the number for Saturn, the keeper of time. She's going to turn 45 on Inauguration Day. The magic square of Saturn sums to 45. If you missed my video on Saturn and Donald Trump's run for president, it was all done by the numbers of Saturn. His campaign lasted exactly 511 days until Election Day. 511, another number for Saturn, like 93. He's going to take office with the 115th Congress. Remember the assassination scare in Reno, Nevada on November 5th? 5/11. This is all predictive programming. So there's more with Nikki Haley. Today, the date of this announcement, it's a date with a life lesson number of 43. She's from South Carolina, where the Civil War began. Civil War equals 43, like Charleston, where it began. Lincoln was the Civil War president, born on the 43rd day of the year. I've been documenting all year there's something going on with Donald Trump and the Carolinas in the coding. Perhaps this is it. They're bringing back the Civil War with all the divisiveness, the racism, the hatred. You know, I said in February that this very well could happen. Donald Trump made the most sense as the next president based on the direction of the country. The purposeful division, the purposeful race baiting. Donald Trump was the candidate. South Carolina also has the gematria that you see on the screen, 57, 66, 156. All those numbers are interesting, but what stands out the most is the 156, the number connecting to 33, and false flag. South Carolina had a number of false flags with this number coded right into it. Walter Scott shooting, church shooting, white versus black. So again, Haley's 44 years old, just like the first appointment he made, going to be the 44th man to be president. The number of the military, we're talking about war, Civil War, military equals 44 like kill. The article's talking about how not long ago Donald Trump tweeted this. This is March 1st, 2016. The people of South Carolina are embarrassed by Nikki Haley. So embarrassed that he'd put her right in the administration. So now let's talk about Betsy DeVos, the sister of the psychopath Eric Prince, who's fleeced the government for millions, really billions of dollars. Needless war, taking advantage of the needless war. This is who's in Washington, a bunch of predators. People who want to be there to steal up all the tax dollars that are sucked up by the federal government from all the working people. It's what this nation is, a bunch of working slaves that generate all this revenue so these rich tyrants can just have it, rule over us, use the money to deceive us, control us. That's what we're doing. All of you who go to work and pay the bills just because to survive for yourself, what you're doing is you're supporting the monsters, We got to figure out how to get beyond this. We need to organize, work together, establish our own communities, take a stand, tell the federal government to go fuck themselves, no more tax collection, no more of their bullshit. We need to get a lot of people on the same page. Could take this country back in a second. Imagine if tomorrow we said, you know what everyone's doing tomorrow? Everyone's flipping their license plates over backwards. The whole country's flipping them backwards because then the police won't be able to do shit about it. You see, if we moved in numbers, we could start doing all sorts of things. We could just overcome all their bullshit authority that they have on us. In numbers, there's safety. So anyway, here's Betsy again. Her brother, head of Blackwater, Eric Prince. Blackwater, one of those 33 things, the number of Masonry. Eric Prince is a Freemason. He's a Jesuit. I'm sure this woman's part of the female order of those things. Her name, Elizabeth, or Betsy DeVos. She was born in 58. Hello, Freemasonry, secret society. 58 days until Inauguration Day today, when she'll take office. Again, 58th presidential election Donald Trump just won. With regards to her brother being Eric Prince, which must mean that her birth name is also Prince before she married, makes me think of royalty. Her birth name in gematria sums to 146, like United Kingdom, like the hit TV show Game of Thrones, which is a mocking of us all. You know, putting the headlines in that show where they're talking about the same things that are going on in our society. People aren't getting it. You know, they're telling you about how the bankers just rule over people easily, the people who control the wealth. People like watching these shows, but they don't see how they're being mocked. Anyway, think about how Donald Trump was over in the UK when Brexit was going on. All these people are royalty, bloodline, tracing back. Donald Trump born into this network. This woman born into this network. Nikki Haley probably part of this network. These people are all born to be or indoctrinated in. I also want to point out something about this name that she goes by, Betsy DeVos. If you're not aware, the U.S. education system, it goes back to the Victorian times in the United Kingdom. In the year 1837, they made it punishable for families to not send their children to these schools set up for them, where they were taught nothing but false lies in history to control them, just as we are in the United States under the same education system. This began in 1837, the Victorian education system. Betsy DeVos equals 37, like the word teach. Again, these Freemasons have been doing all their agenda over the years by the numbers, putting their teach agenda in, which is an agenda not about educating, but about socializing and controlling. Look at the word Victorian, 666. One of my oldest videos is the U.S. education system is the system of the beast. One of my oldest videos. Number of the beast is 666. The way this woman spells her name, Elizabeth, if she spelled it the normal way with a Z, it would sum to 88 like Trump, but she spells it with an S, which sums to 81. And I noticed she's born January 8th. A lot of times these people have names that sync up perfectly with the dates they're born on. She's born on January 8th, 8/1, Elizabeth 81. The way she spells it also has the same gematria as school. Date she was born has the numerology as follows. You see the words next to the numbers, they're all associated. The 67 stands out, number of women, female, 67, International Women's Day, the 67th day of the year. 2 women appointed today. She's the head of this thing called Alliance for School Choice, which is, again, about charter schools, which is about shifting wealth, taking even less from poor communities and putting it more in rich communities. These are people who don't believe in the saying, you know, you're only as strong as your weakest link. These are people who instead believe, you know, I just want to rule over these people, I don't give a fuck about them. You want a strong society, you need to help out the poorest among you, you need to help elevate them. You know, the reason they don't do that is because they need poverty. Poverty brings crime. Crime brings, you know, the reason for policing and authority and prisons and jails. This is all a system we live in. Planned, executed. Economics, statistics. So anyway, it's called Alliance for School Choice, her thing, right? Which is 211, which is the 47th prime number, the number of authority, authority 47, foundation 47, framework 47, obey, judge, gavel, all 47 words. This news of her appointment comes 47 days to her birthday. You know? How about it? How about it? Span of 47 days to her birthday. This is the foundation she heads. This is an appointment from the president. The word president equals 47. Election night, Donald Trump was in the Midtown Hilton Hotel, 47 floors tall. It's hosted every single president since John F. Kennedy, that hotel. They bring up Common Core, CC 33, you know, how they program the teachers. Remember, 33 is the master teacher number, teacher 33. Trump's first appointment, his chief of staff, the headline that day had 104 gematria, just like chief of staff. And I had to laugh when I looked at who it was because it was Reince Priebus, 44 years old. And not only that, but his name in gematria summed to 144, just like when you write out 44. And ever since then, it's been nothing but 44 and 58 connections with every single appointment. I notice he has the 81 connection in his name too. His full name, gematria of 137 using Pythagorean, Washington, D.C., 137, authority 137, 137, the 33rd prime number. Right here. Washington, D.C., American Meridian, authority. Federal 33, order, secrecy, masonry. Remember Trump? He went for this guy, Mad Dog Mattis, for his Secretary of Defense. Mad Dog in simple English gematria sums to 44. He's been in the Marine for 44 years. Military equals 44. Genocide, kill. Secretary of Defense equals 193, the 44th prime. You see how perfect it all is? It's because it's been crafted over the ages by the Freemasons. The name he goes by, James N. Mattis, 144, like 44. I'll link all the videos I've done on appointments. It's all the same all the way through. Coding the same numbers. These people are all Masonic Zionist agents. Again and again, every appointment's been by the numbers, on a day for a reason, just as everything has been done all throughout history by this Masonic network. They measure by the dates to the birthdays. It's undeniable. Also, Nikki Haley, she's going to be up at the United Nations. Let's see if I got a bigger picture of the United Nations here. Here we go. United Nations, if you never noticed this before, their symbol. Notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. And each section has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. 4 times 8 is 32, plus the circle in the middle is 33. 33, the number of masonry, secrecy, Freemasons running the world, making the United Nations. Yeah, they're United Masonic Nations. Look at these 33 words right here, also relevant to us. Masonry, secrecy, society, order, federal, people, person. Do you know that as we people, we have 33 vertebrae in our back? And did you know that the home row of the keyboard, A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, what they call the spine, sums to 33? If you've ever read about our keyboard, it's nonsensical. It's made to slow us down. That's why the letters have no logical placement. But I think this home row of 33 is another tribute to the gang that governs over us. What do you think? 33 vertebrae, spine of the keyboard sums to 33 in gematria? Maybe you're one of those people that thinks everything's a coincidence. When will the American people learn, How could you ever think a billionaire asshole born with a silver spoon in his mouth was going to represent anything other than billionaire assholes? Until next time, true